Welcome, everyone. We're glad to see you all. Thanks for coming. It is 5:30 on the 17th of February, 2022. We are meeting in the boardroom on Legacy Campus, and we will start with roll call.
Larry Jepson, board member.
Steve Norton, superintendent.
Roger Pulsifer, board member.
Terry Rhodes, board member.
Kathy Christiansen, board member.
Chris Corcoran, board member.
Jeff Nielsen, board member.
Jared Black, business administrator.
And Randall Bagley, board member, is excused. Please rise. Kathy Christiansen will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our mission is to educate students for success in a changing world.
Thank you, Kathy. And our favorite part of the agenda is recognitions. And first we have quite a few this evening. We have from Wellsville, Angeline Johnson, who teaches 6th grade, and she will be presented by Principal Glenn Harris.
Thank you. Coming down from the right behind.
From Wellsville, we're not used to going first. Usually the W's are but we're glad to be first. And 1 month ago, we were here for Angie's husband, Joseph, who's here tonight, who's a teacher there at Ridgeline. So it's kind of fun for their little family to have Teachers of the Year for both of them in the same year. But it really is an honor and a privilege to be here to recognize Angeline Johnson as Wellsville Elementary's Teacher of the Year. She is certainly very deserving of that. Angie would tell you that she still feels like a new teacher, but I can tell you that she's growing quickly into becoming a solid, reliable, mature veteran teacher. She's well regarded by her students for sure, the parents, and her colleagues as well. She loves kids and wants to do everything she can to help them find success. She's a hard worker. She's always prepared every day to give her best to her students. When she instructs, she does it in a fun and engaging manner. Her students, you can see in their eyes, they really want to please her. Currently, she's working on her administrative endorsement with me. And really, she's a natural leader. And I've given her some kind of tough assignments that she probably thinks this will be a good experience, but it may not always be good right at that moment, right? But she's doing great, and she'll certainly be a great administrator one day as well. I think the most telling thing is what her students say of her. So I just got a few little quotes from a couple of your students. See what happens when you miss a day of school? This is from a little boy in her class. Congratulations, Mrs. Johnson. You totally deserve this reward. You really help out our class. You make everyone feel like they're a part of something. And you're such a hard worker and always on top of things. You're a good mother. She has a child at our school, so I guess he's seen that. And also a good 6th grade teacher. But we all think you're awesome and helpful. And here's one. I'll tell you later. It's from a little girl in her class. You are super kind, and I have never had a teacher as great as you. You help me look for the good things in life, not just the bad. When you teach, you explain really well, and always make it so we can understand. You have a good sense of humor when you teach us. And I know teachers that don't have a sense of humor like you do, and they're definitely boring. You push us to exceed beyond our limit and to find success in everything that we do. Another sentence or two here. You push us to try our hardest. You challenge us. You teach us and push our knowledge past the limit. You are great. You're a great teacher. And Mr. Johnson, you certainly are a great teacher. Thanks for all you do for the kids at Wellsville Elementary.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I can appreciate that. I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love teaching, and loving on other people's babies is like the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I love being a teacher, and I love empowering kids with that education. They truly are the best. But I also want to say thank you to all of you. Cash has definitely supported me from the beginning. And you being in my classroom the first year, I'll never forget. So thank you.
Can we have everyone who's here with Angeline please stand? Next, we have Brianna Jelke, who teaches kindergarten at River Heights Elementary, and she will be presented by Principal Stephanie Adams.
Thank you. This is Brianna Jelke. She hails to us from the amazing state of Idaho. She came down to Utah State to get her education and bleeds Chiragi blue, so she's found her home with us here in River Heights. She started teaching with our district at Nibley Elementary and then went to Sunrise. Still wasn't quite good enough, so she found her way over to River Heights and has been with us now for 10th year, 10 years. Miss Jelke is an amazing part of our school staff. We've got a couple of parents here who I'm sure could get up here and talk for an hour each about the impact that she has on our kiddos. One of the biggest telltale signs of an impact a child or teacher has on a child is what happens on back to school night. When instead of going to their new teacher's classroom, they go to the kindergarten classroom to go hang out with their kindergarten teacher again, because that is the place where they really felt the magic of school. And that happens in her room. Her kids absolutely love being in school every day, and they get that foundation for their education and that love of learning from what they get in Miss Jelke's classroom. Not only does she impact those students, she also impacts the teachers and our community in an amazing way. And I'd like to share some of the comments that teachers have said about Brianna over the last few years, because she is one of those folks that just seems to come to the top every year. Brianna is an energetic and devoted teacher. She loves her students and works hard to make sure that they all have their individual needs met. Her classroom is a fun place to learn and a place where students know that they are cared for. As students leave kindergarten, they carry with them fond memories that they will treasure forever. We are so lucky to have teachers like Brianna at River Heights. Brianna is an amazing teacher. She gives everything she has to her students and is a master at her craft. Brianna is so warm and loving to her students. The kids who have been in her class adore her and talk about her long after they've been in kindergarten. Brianna plans fun activities for her students. She makes learning so fun and engaging and is an awesome coworker and an incredibly easy person to work with. She's a trustworthy confidant and gives helpful advice when needed. I've loved working with Brianna, and I feel that she really deserves this because of who she is and the place that she makes River Heights to be. I nominate Brianna Jelke because she not only has the cutest personality, very true, and always has matching shoes. She makes learning so fun for these kids. I've seen shy, scared kids completely blossom in her class. I'm amazed at how much she's able to teach these kids in the short amount of time that she has with them each day. She's organized, she's creative, she's thorough. She puts in so much time and effort into everything she does in giving her students the best possible foundation to build on. And I can say for a fact our students are much, much better off because they have a strong foundation that starts with Miss Brianna Jelke. So congratulations, Brianna.
I asked her what I was supposed to do if they handed me the mic. Would I like to thank the Academy, or what am I doing here? So, but thank you very much for this. It's obviously teachers don't go into it for the pay or the recognition or any of that. Teaching is hard. There's not anybody in this room that doesn't know, being related or friends with a teacher or any aspect, that doesn't know that teaching is hard. And so this is a little bit helpful to see that recognition there, that I'm not a perfect teacher, I'm not the best teacher, but I try, and it's great to be sort of recognized for that trying. So thank you very much for that, and I will pay whoever said all those nice things to me later. So anyways, thank you so much.
Can we have those who are here with Brianna stand up, please? The next person we're going to recognize is Joylyn Gonzalez, who teaches language arts at Skyview. She will be presented by Principal Mike Monson.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this. This is, I think this is wonderful to see teachers recognized. We don't do it enough. And so, Joy Gonzalez, if anybody knows her, her parents had some prophetic moments when they were trying to name her. Because the best way to describe her is Joy. I mean, she's very demure, very quiet, very shy. No, and I'm a little sarcastic. But Joy Gonzalez is one of those people that you can't just help but love. And we have a whole bunch of freshman students taking English that love Miss Gonzalez. And those that have had her in the past, so many nice comments. So just a little bit of background. She started out teaching in Granite District, came to Cache for a year, went back to Granite for a year, and decided, okay, I've had enough. So she came up to Cache District. She taught at Spring Creek for a year. She went to North Cache for 18 years. And I'll actually tell you, when we divided between Skyview and Green Canyon, all the folks that were coming from North Cache said, you have got to get Joy Gonzalez down here. And I know she has her family here tonight, and I think she's kind of a carpool mom right now and trying to keep up with kids, and we're always so grateful when they can get their driver's license eventually. And but anyway, this is somebody I'm very grateful to honor tonight, and she represents Skyview so well, and very much deserved teacher recognition for Skyview.
Thank you, Superintendent. It's been a long time since you sat in the back of my room and made me really nervous. So it's nice to be in the front, I guess. I just want to thank my family. They're the ones that allow me to put in some long hours at the kitchen table with a whole stack of essays so they can get done. And I'm surprised at how many people I know in here that I've worked with. And I think that's the greatest joy in this profession, is the people who I work with that challenge me, that push me, and allow me to be a great teacher and a fun teacher. And thanks for taking me to Skyview, because now I have things on my resume like running a scoreboard and announcing at like assemblies. I never thought I'd have that, so it's lots of fun. Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Can we have everyone who's here with Joy stand, please? Next, we get to recognize Mike Summers, who is a resource teacher at North Cache. He will be presented by Principal John Anderson.
First of all, congratulations, Joy. I'm one that got to work with her, and I think we'll have to try and get her back to North Cache. So we'll work on that. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of great teachers in my career. And one thing that I've noticed about each of them, it's their innate ability to get kids to do things that they don't want to do from the onset. And Mike's one of those teachers that fall into that category of just truly great teachers. I'm just going to read this. This was not a surprise to some. His son Kendrick said, when I heard that my dad won Teacher of the Year, I thought to myself, it's about time. His wife Lindsay says, to know Mike is to love Mike. His personality far and away exceeds his stature. He can light up a room and have everyone laughing in no time. Mike is excellent at always seeing the good in someone first, including his students. He sees their potential and how to fix any roadblocks. Oftentimes when we are out and about, a former student of his makes an effort to come and say hi and check in. Kelly Christensen, a peer teacher and great friend, said he is rock solid. Mike does an excellent job understanding and interpreting data. He can handle the most challenging kids with ease and is a champion for the underdog. And all these are true. I've seen them all in Mike. Kelly Allen, another teacher, said, Mike has taught me more about teaching and connecting with students than I have ever learned from any class or formal institution. And she keeps singing that praise almost daily when I run into her. And they're team teaching together, by the way. Stephanie Adams said, the principal at River Heights said, I had the opportunity to be on Mike's hiring panel. You could tell even from that short interview that his heart was in helping kids realize their potential and chase their goals and dreams. And then his parents shared, we always knew Mike was serious about education. He was mad to the 10th degree because we wouldn't buy him a black leather briefcase to take to kindergarten. Maybe they should have gotten that briefcase because according to his wife, this guy reads textbooks for fun. So, yeah, maybe you should get one of those. And then his daughter, Lila, summarized it well. He says, my dad tells me never to give up. He always wants me to try my hardest and keep learning. He is really kind and funny. My dad is the best. Go, Dad. Congratulations, Mike Summers.
That's the real prize right
By the way, he's full of one-liners, too, so we're bound to get a good one.
None here. It's on video. I'm a little selective that way. It just honestly feels real awkward to be up here to accept this sort of recognition because there's a lot of people in this room that I actually have to thank for being able to do what I do. As I look around and see faces, and I'm really grateful for that. Anyone who's worked with me as my superior knows that they have to learn really fast to get used to out of the blue phone calls that are just like frantic because I'm in the middle of a panic attack trying to tackle that next problem and I want it fixed yesterday. So thanks to you, you know who you are, for fixing those things and being quasi-therapists and just basically putting up with me. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do what I do and what I love every day.
Well deserved.
Congratulations, Mike. Can we have those here with Mike please stand?
We're standing.
All right.
Told them not to come, apparently.
They all spoke. Oh, good. Okay, next we'll recognize Monica Carter, who teaches 4th grade at Sunrise Elementary. She will be presented by Principal Derek Beer.
Like every one of these teachers that we've recognized tonight, I think we've seen a reoccurring theme. and that's teachers that build great relationships. And if there's a teacher that builds great relationships, it's Miss Carter. I've seen that right from the start. Miss Carter's been at our school for 4 years, and she started at our school. She did her student teaching there, and we were lucky to get her to come and join our staff. I was excited because in her student teaching, I saw that she had the ability to do exactly what I just said. She built relationships. Even in that quick, awkward time of student teaching, she built those relationships. She stands out in front of her class every day, welcomes her students. Just that one little thing, I think, makes such a huge difference in those students' lives. They see their teacher standing there welcoming them and having a great start to their day. I had some parents, I had some peers, I had some students give me some input on why they think Miss Carter is deserving of this. A teacher wrote that Monica is truly a gem of a teacher and a colleague. She looks out for her students and has their best interests always as her priority. Monica strives to know her students' strengths and areas of concern. She will target her teaching to best serve her students' needs. Monica loves to collaborate with her colleagues to discuss student data and concerns. She will research best practices, and she shares her amazing ideas and resources with the team. Monica brings joy and happiness to her team, classroom, and school. She truly is the teacher of the year. A parent wrote that she's passionate about her teaching and she cares about each individual child. She is encouraging and positive and has a wonderful environment for her students to learn and grow. My son has shown so much improvement this year, and I know that it's because of Miss Carter. She is organized and excellent with communication. With communication, it's so important to me as a parent. She is always on top of things, and I'm so grateful for my child to have her as a teacher. The best part, like Principal Harris shared just a minute ago. I went into her class, I grabbed her class today as she was walking down the hall and sent her to class, and I had them tell me some things that make her the teacher of the year. She actually watched the Super Bowl this year. She's fun and amazing. She has voice actions. I don't know what those... Okay, we'll have to clarify that tomorrow. She's nice and serving this. Congratulations. I think you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, I didn't realize so many of the small things that I'm obsessed with make me Teacher of the Year. I love that. I am just so grateful to receive this award, and I'm grateful for all the people that I work with. I wouldn't be here without all the people that I work with and through the district and all the things that they provide for us. I'm so grateful to work at this amazing district. So thank you.
Congratulations, Monica. Can we have those who are here with her please stand? Okay, so now we'll move on to the business part of our meeting. So if you want to leave, now is the time. You're welcome to stay. But if you want to escape, this is the time. Okay, seeing that we have no public input, we will move on to the consent agenda, and I will take a motion.
I move that we accept excuse me, accept the consent agenda.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as printed, and so we will vote.
Voting is closed and the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The consent agenda is approved, and we will move on to the action agenda. The first one being a request for approval of the South Cache Middle School School Land Trust Plan Amendment. And I will take a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the South Cache Middle School's School Lands Trust Plan Amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and approved that moved and seconded that we approve the South Cache Middle School School Land Trust Plan Amendment. And so now we will vote.
Voting is closed and the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Having moved and seconded and unanimous voting, South Cache can move ahead with their School Land Trust Plan Amendment, if they haven't already. Next, we have a request for approval of the Ridgeline High School School Land Trust Plan Amendment. And I will take a motion on this one.
I move that we approve the Ridgeline High School School Land Trust Plan Amendment.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Ridgeline High School School Land Trust Plan Amendment, and we will vote.
Voting is closed and the motion passes unanimously.
Seeing that it passes unanimously, Ridgeline can move ahead with their School Land Trust Plan Amendment. Thanks for coming. Next, we have a request for approval of child development curriculum that was presented to us 2 weeks ago by Brittany Foster. Does anyone have any questions? I will take a motion.
I move that we approve the child development curriculum.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the child development curriculum presented by Brittany Foster, and we will vote.
Voting is closed and the motion passes unanimously.
Since it passed unanimously, Brittany can move forward with the child development curriculum in the district. Last on our action agenda, we have a request for approval of the Healthy Lifestyles curriculum presented by Jenny Buse 2 weeks ago. Any questions? All right. I will take a motion.
I make a motion we approve of the Healthy Lifestyles curriculum.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Healthy Lifestyles curriculum for the district presented by Jenny Buse 2 weeks ago, and we will vote on that.
Voting is closed, and the motion passes unanimously.
Since voting was unanimous, then Jenny can move forward with the Healthy Lifestyles curriculum. Thank you for coming. Moving on to our reports agenda, we will have the monthly financial reports for December 2021 and January 22 presented by Jared Black.
I feel like I need to say the word unanimously a few more times. So let me see how I can do. Feels good to be back on track with our financial reports after missing a meeting in December and then with illness and other things being a little bit behind in January, but we're back on track with the reports. December and January have balanced out on our books, so everything looks good there. Just a couple of highlights from those months. In December, we received the majority of our property taxes for the fiscal year, and that was close to $36 million in property taxes received this last December. We also updated budgets for a good majority of our programs as we get mid-year adjustments from the state board. We also made a payment for interest on our general obligation bonds. We make the payment for interest in December, and we make the payment for the bonds themselves or the principal in June each year. And then we also made a significant payment for phase 2, which is the last ongoing phase of our energy retrofit project. So those were some of the bigger things that happened in December. In January, we received another $4 million in property tax. The payments go down quite a bit, but we still see some of that coming in. I think it's also worth noting that our staff worked really hard in January to process and distribute all of the tax forms that are required for the end of the calendar year, W-2s and 1099s and 1095s and such. So my thanks to our staff who were able to get those processed and distributed on time. So those are just a few things from December and January. Unless you have any questions for me, that'll conclude my report.
It seems that I do have one question. It seems that the health and dental insurance fund is a lot higher this year in revenue than it has been in the past. Is there, what's the reason for that?
Well,
great that the fund has more fund.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what it was a year ago, so I'm not sure what to compare it to. But we do we have to loan that fund $1 million in about September because it usually is about to run out of cash, and then when we start to get more from our employees at the start of the school year, we can repay that. And in December, we repaid that $1 million, so that may be part of what you're seeing. I'm not sure, but we do have indications that the insurance itself is saving both the district and our employees a significant amount of money. We had a meeting just the other day where Kirk and our insurance broker shared some of that information, and so I think over time it's able to build up and become more solvent within itself, which is a good thing.
That is great. Thank you. Anyone else have questions? Okay. Moving on, we have board member reports. Anyone have a report? Kathy?
Yeah. I just wanted to report that we gave Carolyn a really beautiful gift basket from us, and she was very appreciative. And I passed the little, I don't know what you would call it, along so you could see what we gave her sort of as a recognition from us. She was happy.
Thank you.
Randall's not here tonight. Anyone else?
Should we mention graduation, Tim? Would that be a good idea? Tim can report on his end, but I just emailed Tim earlier today or this afternoon. I had a meeting with some representatives on campus who are in charge of events. I think Tim met with them when I wasn't able to come to talk about logistics and actual, plans for the ceremony itself, and what might, what also might be done as a part of the ceremony during, before, after, and so on. My focus with that group, with the events folks on campus, was just to talk about cost. And so they're going to break it down, but our object right now is to try to get a lot of those costs waived at Utah State. So I'm in the process with the person who's the director of events for Utah State. We're making an appeal to the university president. She has the authority to waive costs when it comes to renting, say, the Spectrum. And so we want to make an appeal to just basically get that waived as kind of a COVID reset. And there are some costs that can't be waived. The rental can, but some of the other costs can't, and those are itemized costs that we're going to try to see if we can get covered by sponsorships. So people that we know in the community, boosters, friends of our schools who might be willing to chip in, some hundreds of dollars or a couple thousand here and there to cover itemized costs, so that we can maybe get as many of those dollars covered as possible, so that we can focus more on making the event, fun, and including elements in the event that we might better use some of those funds for, and eliminating some of these basic costs like rental and some of the other itemized costs that are associated with that. So I think that we're going to have that resolved one way or the other in terms of the cost side of it soon. I'm hoping actually before our next board meeting, but that's kind of what I'm working on. Tim, I don't know if you have anything to add in terms of the actual plans for the event.
Well, you did great summarizing it. Thank you for all your efforts. We tried not to get into the cost when we were planning. We were trying to focus on getting back to having a good event. We had all representatives from all 4 high schools there, and we came up with some good ideas on how we can brand the events better in the Spectrum and provide some opportunities for students to get pictures, and adding some of the elements that we added during COVID, some afterward events. So we're well on our way. We've got a shared document we're working through with the 4 high schools and getting the format down and everything. So we're excited about that. And again, thank you, Chris, for intervening on our behalf.
Well, thank you for your work, because I can say in meeting with the events people, they very much appreciate the coordination across the high schools, because I think that, I think some of the feedback that we received about these ceremonies pre-COVID, really a lot of that reflected, the ways that they were hamstrung just based on, the timing and so on. And maybe kind of lack of coordination among the high schools, in terms of how they, just even how they wanted the space physically laid out. And so I think this has been a really good process to try to get that, approach more unified, so that they can be more creative, and that we can add some of the more unique and personal touches that will make it good for each high school. The events people are really excited about this. I think they see it also as an opportunity. It's a kind of a reset to really make this something special.
Do you think they'll? Right now, it's scheduled only 2 high schools a day, right? At 1 and 6. Will they keep it that way at USU and not schedule someone else in between, or do you know?
I think my take is they're totally willing to spread things out if that's the way we want.
Okay.
For those days, we've actually gotten on the calendar for the following year. They basically told us, if you have your dates, we had our dates. So because you approved the calendar last time, we actually gave them our dates for the following year. So we're hopeful that was a good sign from the principals, that they felt comfortable at the end of that meeting enough to say, yeah, sign us up for next year. So
Great. Thank you both for all your work, or everyone who's working with that. But thank you especially, Chris, for being the liaison with USU. making that happen.
Terry?
Mhm.
I'd just like to say thanks to Green Canyon High on the article about the young man's graduation, early graduation in the paper and on the news. It was great to hear that.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because the comment I got when Kevin came home today was, "Oh, so you made the TV news and you're bawling." I said, "What else can you do in a graduation? Like, I mean, lots of people were." So, anyway,
It was great.
it was a really great celebration.
Yeah, even my 18-year-old, not very emotional son had a lot to say about it last night when he came home. So, yeah, that was a great idea and a great event.
I felt like they could have canceled class for the rest of the day, and the kids got the lesson.
Yeah.
And a very important.
I
good
think
message.
my son may have. I don't know. Seems like during his senior year, I'm getting a lot of automated emails these days. But
Happens to the best of us.
Anyone else? Randall's not here, but Jenda needs to get started on whatever we want to do to recognize teachers this year. You know, last year we did with the cards and the gift cards for those who had reached certain years of tenure. And Randall sent me an email and asked that I bring it up for discussion here at this meeting. He says, "I think it's a great tradition to honor employees for their years of service. I think we should continue, but I realize it's a lot of work. We should probably have a committee to do this. Maybe we could ask Steve if he has thoughts on who could help with this. We could ask if any board members would like to help. I've not been very diligent this year sending out cards to Teachers of the Year. But I do have a couple of thoughts. I still have lots of cards and could bring them in and have each board member sign them for each Teacher of the Year, and then someone could mail them later. We might have to do this over several weeks to get everyone's signature. And we could also assign board members to send cards to teachers who teach in their precincts. This would give everyone around 4 or so cards to write." So he's looking for input on what we want to do this year for teachers. The same thing as last year with gift cards and those recognitions for certain tenure. Or do we want to do something else? Jenda, do you want to add anything? Okay.
I think we should continue it. What I heard is the teachers really appreciated it.
Yeah, that's the feedback I have also.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd be glad to help him with that if Randall, it sounded like he wanted maybe some help with that.
Well, if I understand correct me if I'm wrong, Jenda, but Jenda did all of the gift cards and the cards that we took and signed last year. Mm-hmm. She did all of those. But Randall committed to to prepare cards for us to sign for Teachers of the Year and did not. So I think that's what he would like help with. And how do you feel about, Jenda, how do you feel about doing the same thing again? Do you want a committee to help? Sorry to make you walk all the way to the front. I just didn't want you to sit by Emily and tell secrets about us anymore.
Not at all. I think it was a really fun way to acknowledge our employees, and I'm happy to lead the charge. It was a lot of work, and I had some help from the people who work beside me, but I think I just want to get a little bit ahead of the game this year and make sure that we get started on it so that we can iron out some of those kinks in time for the school year next year.
One of the suggestions that Jenda had in our email thread, Randall and Jenda and I, was maybe offering a list of gift cards that they could choose from for each level. So that's an option instead of just giving them a set gift card. Any thoughts about that?
How much more time consuming would that be?
I think it would be tricky if we gave the option for every employee to pick which one they want. That's kind of why we did it the way we did it last year, was we just had set levels and then we could order depending on what we needed. What was suggested, we had a couple of people suggest that at other businesses where they've worked, there's a catalog that has different things that can be chosen for the different years of service. And then the employees just go to that year to through the catalog. And it's ordered through the catalog and it's taken care of through the catalog. I haven't really looked into it, but that's definitely something I could look into. And a lot of it would be gear like, mugs or water bottles or blankets or different levels, but a lot of times they have the logo of the business on them so that it's something that's significant as far as it being a work anniversary.
Mm-hmm. What was the cost of the card? How much did they get on the cards? Did it vary or were they all the same?
It did. It varied based on their year. I believe we started with $25 for 5 and 10 years, and then it moved up based on their years of service.
So we'd probably want to look and see if it's around the same amount if we did it where they ordered what they wanted. I know they do that at USU.
Yeah, I believe USU was what was mentioned. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to do whatever. I just want to make sure we get the conversation started early.
Yeah.
And get moving on it so that it's not crunched at the end.
Exactly. So
I would suggest that Jen to work with the business office just to make sure there's only certain types of gifts and certain amounts that we can give to our employees. And if it's a card that can be used like a cash, then you're into reporting it and all that. So I just want to make sure that we keep it within the bounds, whatever we do. And I think there's probably a way to do what she's talking about, but we ought to involve the business office to make sure that, and HR.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Jared, off the cuff?
I just based on the discussion, because I didn't know we were going to be talking about this, but I figured we'd get together after sometime probably next week and start talking about what would be appropriate. Gift cards are problematic in that we unless it's under very limited circumstances, they should be reported as taxable income for the employee. So we may need to look at other options, but I think we could get a group together and talk about that and see what's available.
Even if it's like to a certain place? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Meal or something where they can't, the value is established, and there's a way that you can do gift cards, but you can't do MasterCards and Visas when they can turn it into cash.
So if you did restaurants and Bluebird and Cox Honey and things like that, then there's not that worry?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say not to worry because I'm going to turn it over to the business.
Yeah. The rule really is if there's any choice in what you purchase with the card, and that might ultimately come down to what an IRS auditor says equals choice, but you could even make an argument that a restaurant card, if you're picking what you're ordering, would fall under that criteria. But like I said, we can dive into it with a little group and maybe come up with some ideas and options that still fit those rules, but would work out for this program.
Okay. I'd be happy to help you.
Great.
So you don't have to do it all yourself.
Okay.
Again.
That'd be great.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jenda. Anyone else have thoughts? Board member reports? Thank you, Jeff, for sending out the February teacher appreciation note. That was well done.
Thanks, Kathy, for vetting it.
I didn't have to do anything.
Okay.
It was great.
And we do have new filing dates for any candidates for elected office now. That bill passed, I think, on Friday last week. And so the window of the week is February 28th through March 4th now for all candidates for office. And so that affects me, Roger, and Randall this year. I was amazed how fast they could get that bill through the legislature. Wow.
Well, it was because they had to get it before the caucus meetings.
That's right. And I was reviewing policy in the 8,000 section the other day, just because there are several bills on going through the legislature regarding curriculum. And so I just looked at our course of study policy, and it was adopted in 1989 and has not been revisited. So there's some outdated wording in it, but I expect that we will need to revisit this policy as soon as the session is done, if any of those curriculum bills pass. For instance, there is the State Department of Public Instruction, which no longer exists. That would be the probably just the State Board of Education. So anyway, a very, how old is that? That's 33 years old and has not been revisited. So we probably ought to, even if the curriculum bills don't pass. Anyway, so Larry, hopefully you're prepared for that revision. And that's all I have on that I wanted to mention. And so we'll turn the time to the superintendent.
And I just have one item. Emily, would you please stand up, please? Emily's decided she wants to become a regular attender at our board meetings, and I told her that's just fine, and she's welcome to be here. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate the fact that you would step up and want to work with the superintendent's office and all the staff at the district office. So thank you very much. And I'd also like to publicly thank Carolyn for the years that we had the opportunity of working with her. It's been a really, really good ride having her as my assistant, and I look forward to that same kind of opportunity with Emily. And just appreciate you being here, and thank Carolyn one more time for years of dedicated service to this district when there are lots of other things that she probably had on her mind and lots of responsibilities at the home. So.
And I'm in mourning, so.
Yeah, sorry.
And Emily will probably need to move
really.
up to the front of the room.
Yeah, I tried to motion her up a while ago. She didn't move, so.
So she's not instructable. Did you want to, you have on here educational equity. Oh, you weren't at that meeting.
I wasn't.
Just so you know, Alden Jack was that the first meeting?
No, second.
So he had a educational equity committee meeting with just district level people this past week, and he has laid out a really great some really great ideas, and is moving forward with that, just so you know. And will
that'll be expanded. I think that discussion probably took place to allow teachers and some board members to be permanent members of that.
Yes, well, we were there. Kathy and I were there, and he's going to start visiting schools to get input from individual schools. So and talk to teachers there without administrators. But teachers, and just so you know, he would like to, when he visits the schools, he's going to start with the high schools. When he visits those schools, he requested that the board members who have whose representative area are part of that school, that you would be in attendance, just so you know. So watch for information from him or from me regarding that, because he would really like to have representative board members there when he visits with parents and teachers. So Anything else? Anything from the gallery? All right, awesome. Seeing that we have come to the end of our agenda, we will adjourn.